Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It has been some time since I've had a chance to make some videos. I did actually have some content recorded on my Ranger Raptor, but in all my excitement when I got my new S25 Ultra, I quickly wiped the 24 without realizing I had some videos on there, so I lost it. I just haven't had a chance to redo it. But anywho, today I wanted to talk about one of my newer multi-tools, which is the Roxxon Flex Companion. Now, I've actually had this for quite some time. Like, I actually got this when it was launched, so I think it was, 6 months ago? I just haven't had a whole lot of time to really play with it and kind of use it to kind of see how I ultimately like it. And so I kind of made it a focus point now that it got warmer. I've kind of brought this fishing with me a lot to kind of try to use it and kind of give me a good feel for how I like it. So, first things first, size-wise, it's about the size of a, this is the Huntsman. Oh no, this is the Tinker. I think I have a Huntsman here somewhere. So it's about that size, about that same length. So this is like a pretty close in size of a Swiss Army knife. This is the Tinker, which is the same thing as a Huntsman, except it's got a screwdriver instead of a corkscrew. So pretty close in size. This is the Leatherman Free T4, also about the same size. So kind of gives you perspective in terms of size wise. If we put it next to, let me grab some kind of point of reference that everyone will probably get. So here's a Spyderco Para 2. You can kind of see smaller, the bug out. So size-wise, it's pretty good size for what you get for it. Now, price-wise, I think it's gone up in price now. I think I paid maybe like around $40 when it was first launched. So I think it's pretty well priced compared to, some of like the Swiss Army knives, which are kind of in the same size, or it's about the same size. But how does it kind of work and perform? So I think there's a couple things I like about it. Some things I don't like about it. Overall, the tool selection on it, I think, is pretty good. The one thing I'm kind of disappointed in is, it's modular, and some of the stuff it gives you, like this, a comb. I mean, this is like, I don't even know why this is even a thing. Like, to me, these are tools for like essentials. I'm never going to be in a position where I need to comb my hair, and I don't know. That to me is just a complete waste. This one's pretty cool. I like this one, to be honest. It has like a 3-in-1. You got a needle, tweezers, and a pen. So that's actually a pretty cool one, in my opinion. And then even over here, on kind of the main tool front, I think the type of tools they selected, I think, are great. But the quality, I think, is kind of like, especially this one. So the blade is fine, easy to get open, fairly sharp, no issues with the blade. The scissors are pretty good. The only thing about the scissors I'd knock is that it takes a little extra effort to get them going. It's not like, the scissors on here that you just can open with one hand and, ready to go, right? These you kind of have to open and then flip around without cutting yourself. Then you can use them, and then you have to kind of flip them back and then store it. So not the end of the world, but it's much easier just to be able to open and close without having to take the extra step. Again, that's just one little thing about it, but overall they cut well. The saw is good. It's no issues. I've only used it once, but it works fine. The awl, I think, is pretty good as well. Sharp, sturdy. This right here, I think, is the biggest fail on the tool. Again, tape measures on multi-tool I just don't quite get. I mean, I don't know. I've never once found myself needing to measure something that's 4 inches. I mean, I feel like anything under 12 inches, you can kind of ballpark by eye, by hand. I don't need to have a 4-inch ruler. And flip side, this file is pretty bad. It's like compared to like the Leatherman, like this is what it should have been. a dual edge high quality file like this and this, like this you can actually sand metal with. If you had like a nail you want to sharpen, you can easily sharpen it out of here. This will work like on plastic maybe, or a pencil, but a very poor quality file. And then this is just flat out useless. I would have much rather had a nice high quality file, both ends, even a little screwdriver or a little pry bar on top, than this thing. Like, I'm one who loves to have files on my multi-tools. I think it's a very handy thing, so I haven't replaced it. Otherwise I would have probably put this in its place, to be honest. And I've been torn to put this in its place, but I do like having a file on board, so I'm kind of torn. But this would be my only knock against this, is this tool is just kind of trash. And then flip side, you've got a full-size bit holder, which, you know, I'm always torn on, to be honest. I know that having a full size is great because obviously more universal, but, and this is just my personal opinion, you know, I'm in the mindset that this is more as like a backup tool, kind of in a pinch, not something I'm going to kind of reach for when I have other tools available. So I often prefer to have, you know, would opt to have maybe like the smaller profile tool, you know, like what Leatherman does, you know, these kind of flat bits, and then have another tool on board versus having a full-size bit and then no other tools on board. But that's just me. I know that I'm probably in the minority when it comes to that feature. I know most people love having full-size bits, and I see the value of it. I just rather have like this along with maybe this on board, right? And kind of just have more tools on board. But overall, I can't complain, especially for the price. All right, one thing I forgot to add to the video, so I'm gonna insert this here in the middle, is how to change out the tools. So one of the other kind of benefits of this is that it's modular. Now some of the other tools are modular too, just not as easy. This is actually made to be modular, and it's toolless too. So if you wanted to put this comb in, you know, if you're someone that constantly needs to fix their hair, I'll show you how you can swap this out. So it is toolless, which is pretty cool. So you just open this up and then pick the tool you want to surrender. So let's just say I want to take out my scissors. It just pops right out. And then you would go ahead and put the knife in and then relock it, and that's it. So now you've got your comb that you might just so desperately need ready. And then if you ever want to switch it back, same process, you just unlock it, take it out. I wish this was just a hair thinner because, you know, it's a little thicker than some of these tools. So I can't put this without taking two out, which kind of sucks. So take this back in, put it in, lock it, and your scissors are back in. So pretty cool. The only one that it does not work for as easily is the bit driver. So this one, you would have to unscrew this and take it all apart to get to it, I assume. It's not made to be modular, which is kind of a shame. I wish it would have stuck with that beam and maybe put something else in there. I also don't like the fact that they limited this size, so it prevents you from carrying longer bits. But it is what it is. Anyway, that's it on how the modular works. I feel like this is like probably the biggest competitor because for my multi-tools, like, you know, the ones I kind of carry the most, to be honest, are gonna be, it's either I kind of bucket these into small, mid, and big. So when it comes to full-size multi-tools, by far the best is the Arc. I love this thing so much. I actually have two of them. I keep one in my tackle box because this is by far the greatest fishing tool, because you can open with one hand. So when I catch a fish and I'm, you know, pulling it out of the water, I'm holding it with this hand, just to be able to quickly come here and work with one hand is just so much value. Like, to me, the Arc is the greatest multi-tool ever made, and I actually bought 2 of them for that reason. So, you know, if I'm going to be carrying a full-size tool, it's going to be the Arc all day long, no questions asked. And then I kind of have my mid-size, kind of middle, kind of those mid-size where not too big, not too small, which is kind of where I put all these in here. And but you know, the ones I kind of carry the most, I mean, I love Swiss Army knives. I have a soft spot for them. That's kind of how I got started with multi-tools. So they're just so very fun to have, but I just never really take it with me, to be honest, just because I feel like some of these are better. So the ones I carry the most would probably be this one or this one. This one, you know, I just don't use it enough, because for me, I love the free system where I can kind of easily with one hand open everything. So to me, that's got some value there to be able to kind of easily work it. So I feel like these are just so darn close, like together, that you know, it's hard to pick. So I just tend to gravitate to this one just because how much easier it is to kind of operate. Not that this one's hard, you know, they got kind of this push out system to let you open everything. So it's good. Like I said, it's a very, very close tie, but I just tend to kind of grab this one for some reason. Or this one. And what I like about this one is it's mainly for the pliers. So the full-size pliers are a nice touch, but then all the other accessories on this thing kind of aren't the best. Not easy to open. File is not the best either. It is two-sided, but you know, not as good as a Leatherman. But I also like that it's got kind of the file here as well. So, but the rest of the tools are pretty lackluster on this SAG. But overall, it's still got a good assortment of tools. Not the best, but good assortment. So I do like this one as well. This one again, I would take with me if I was going to need pliers. But usually in this kind of middle category, I do carry this one by far the most. And then in the small category, I can't find I've got several Gerber dimes, but yet I can't locate them anywhere. No idea where all my Gerber dimes went. It's actually kind of funny because I've got like 3 or 4 Gerber dimes, which are these kind of little, you know, plier tools. I just can't find one. They're probably in random pockets or probably lose them. But this is kind of my small one. So these are basically in times where I just don't have any pocket room or, you know, ability to carry something larger. But I always want to have some kind of tool on me. So even if I'm going to like a wedding, I'm in dress pants, I'll bring like one of these little guys, you know, just because they're virtually weightless and you never know if you need it. So by far my favorite in this small class, so this is the Leatherman, I forgot what this one's called actually, but it's the scissor tool, which I never really used, to be honest. I just got it to check it out. But I'm a much more bigger fan of the squirts and the Rambler / Manager, I believe this one is, because it's got the pen. So this one is a little bit better because it has a little more tools on it, but it also costs more. So the Rambler is one of my favorites just because it's so small and packs so many tools on board that it's very cool in how tiny it is. So I usually will carry either the Rambler, or this is the Manager, which is very similar except where it's got the pen on it. Or obviously the Squirt's very handy as well. So it's usually a toss-up which one I'll take, but I tend to carry these more because they're lighter and a little easier to use. But that's kind of just a quick comparison to where the Roxxon kind of stacks within my collection. Overall, for the price, I would recommend it. I mean, even though I have a soft spot for Swiss Army knife, I'd probably recommend this one over it, just because, again, ease of use, you know, is probably the main thing. You know, that's the biggest thing of Swiss Army knives. You have to really work to get these things out of here. But I like them. They're fun to have. Pretty well priced, although they've gone up in price a little bit. But does this one have a file on it to compare? No, I don't think this one does have a file. But anywho, I'm just rambling now. Going back on topic here. Great knife. You know, can't really complain for what you get for the price and the features. You know, as always, there's always going to be a personal preferences, but overall, I am happy with it. I'll probably try and carry it more just to kind of get a better feel for it. You know, maybe I'll consider, maybe I'll swap out this ruler, kind of this file. Honestly, feel like it's kind of useless, but I do, like I said, I'm a huge file fan. I always need files, you know, to sharpen things. If you're fishing, sharpen up a fishing hook. It just, you know, to me, it's just a very critical tool. So it's a shame that they put a crappy one on here. But yeah, very cool. It's got a lock here to prevent accidental opening, which is kind of cool. You know, tool selection. I'm just trying to think what else I can cover here. It does feel a little light, to be honest. Maybe not. It's about, maybe because this has like a metal scale, it feels a little more premium. This one, this kind of plastic kind of gives it a little bit of a cheaper feel versus if it was like metal maybe. But again, I'm just reaching here. But that's it. Overall, recommend it. Try it. I think you'll like it. I'm happy with it. Now as I'm making this video, I'm going to make a point to maybe try carrying it more, because I'm always just reaching for this one, just out of habit. But I'll try to make a point to try to grab this one with me more and more as I go about my day. But that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will catch you on the next one.